Welcome to the Golden FM World Cup. I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to make any more of these World Cup experiments, but a few days ago, this chap suggested this idea where I would use the 32 nations where my most views come from, essentially, on YouTube. So what I did was I looked at my YouTube analytics, went back to the very beginning 6 years ago, and listed out the top 32 nations where my viewership has come from over the years. As suggested, I did use his calculations to work out the views from England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, because YouTube calculates it as the UK, and of course those four nations play as separate nations in football. So on the left hand side here you'll see the 32 nations listed by top to bottom in regards to minutes watched on my channel throughout the history of my channel. If you haven't watched my other World Cup experiments recently, you probably won't know what this is all about. Essentially what I have done is I have put these 32 nations into a real World Cup scenario, so the 2018 World Cup in Russia, using the Football Manager 2018 editor. These are the groups that were drawn. So I drew them randomly. I did do a sort of seeding system, and we've ended up with these groups. So we've got England and Italy in the same group, which could be an interesting clash. We've got India with USA, Belgium and Romania. Hong Kong have just about slid into that list as well. There might be some of you that are watching from nations that are not in these 32. I've had views from all over the world, like 200 different nations, which is just incredible, really. Some really little islands as well, in sort of Micronesia and Polynesia, those sorts of places where I've had views as well, which is just insane, really. So this is kind of a thank you video for you guys that have watched my videos over the years or just recently. It's something I could do every now and then. Just a little experiment where I simulate the World Cup with these 32 nations, but I could do it by views in the last month, for example. So if I've released a video which is really popular in a certain nation, then you might sneak into this top 32. Looking at the World Cup then on Football Manager 2018, these are the 8 groups, as you can see here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate this World Cup five times, and we'll see what the outcome is. We might see a shock. I mean, it's likely to be the likes of Brazil, Germany, Spain, dominating, of course, because they are the best footballing nations. But we might see a little shock. I'd like to see a Scandinavian nation do well, because I've had so many views from you guys over the years. Nordic nations, Scandinavian nations. Portugal have always been pretty loyal to me. Thank you guys. And actually America and probably in the last couple of years has shot up. The views have shot up, and obviously according to that list on Excel that I showed you, I get the second highest number of views from USA. So I've simulated the World Cup once so far, and we're going to have a look at this in a bit of detail. I've put a black box over the top here to hide the fact the overall winners of the World Cup, because it shows the holders there, and that would give it away. So we're going to do it this way in this experiment, where we don't give it away until the final. But you can see here, Italy and England qualified from Group A. Italy very comfortable. Serbia and Holland went through from Group B, with Brazil getting knocked out. That is a massive shock. France and Sweden went through from Group C. Wales just missing out on goal difference. Croatia and Portugal went through from Group D. Scotland missing out there. Germany and Australia went through from Group E. Germany scored 10 goals without reply, 8 of which were against Indonesia, who actually managed to get a draw, which is quite impressive. 0-0 draw against Turkey. Norway topped Group F, finishing ahead of Spain on goal difference. They must have scored a lot of goals against Singapore. Singapore conceded 16 goals. Poor old Singapore. Not great from them. Finland topped Group G ahead of Northern Ireland. Well, that's a surprise. Denmark getting knocked out at the group stage behind Finland and Northern Ireland. Belgium went through. They scored 14 goals in this group. They scored 9 against India, who did manage to get a draw against Romania, so that's quite impressive. In the second round then, we saw England and Italy go through. Portugal went through on penalties against France. Croatia beat Sweden. Germany beat Spain. Norway beat Australia. USA beat Finland, and Belgium beat Northern Ireland with the biggest win of the second round, 3-0. In the quarterfinals, Italy beat Croatia. Portugal defeated England 2-0 thanks to Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes. And what a game this is between Germany and Belgium. 3-2. We saw an own goal, we saw an injury, we saw goals from Hazard, Lukaku, Draxler and Stindl. And Belgium were just too strong for Germany in the end. But this is Norway. What a journey for them. They didn't qualify for the real World Cup, nor did USA, remember. 2 teams taking each other on in this quarterfinal stage that didn't qualify for the real World Cup. And Norway can't go through on penalties. Wow, can they go all the way? Let's see. Semi-final then. Wow, they've won on penalties again. They beat Italy on penalties. 2 nations once again facing off against each other that didn't qualify for the real World Cup. And Norway, a massive shock really. I mean, they have a very good team. They are really underperforming in world football right now because they've got some very good players. I think they've got a decent set of youngsters, a couple of wonder kids in there. And they're just underperforming in real life. But they've got through to a World Cup final in the Golden FM World Cup. So you might become Golden FM World Champions. Belgium defeated Portugal in the other semi-final. Mertens and Lukaku getting the goals for Belgium. Third place playoff then. It went to Italy. They beat Portugal 3-1. So even though Italy didn't qualify for the real World Cup, they finished third in the Golden FM World Cup. That's a much better achievement really, isn't it? Ronaldo did get a goal, but it was only a consolation in the end. And the final, let's see. Who won it? It was Norway. Norway beat Belgium 2-1. Wow. That is a massive, massive shock. Norway 2, Belgium 1. Joshua King with a 94th minute winner. Eden Hazard did get a goal back, but it wasn't enough. It was 0-0 after 90 minutes. We saw 3 goals in extra time. Belgium had the majority of the chances, more possession, probably the better team, but Norway get the win, and they're Golden FM World Champions. Well done to Norway for that. That is, well, I'll fill in the Excel spreadsheet. We'll look at the results at the end of all 5 World Cups, but that is a real achievement from them, isn't it? To actually manage to win a World Cup. The Best Player award went to Hazard. De Bruyne was second. Joshua King third. He got 6 goals in the tournament and 4 assists. What a tournament from Joshua King. That is fantastic. Best goalkeeper went to Courtois of Belgium. Best young player went to Pulisic of USA. The dream team consisted of quite a few Belgians in there. We saw Josh King with three Norwegians, a few Belgians. We saw Draxler, Darmian and Ronaldo also feature in that team. Golden Boot went to Hazard. He got 9 goals. Very impressive tournament from him. But we saw 2 Norwegians on this list as well, Sørloth and King, with 7 goals and 6 goals respectively. And the goal of the tournament went to Axel Witsel. Let's have a look at that then. Against poor old India, who were murdered 9-0 in this game. You've got to feel sorry for them. But still, they've got to this stage, thanks to their views on my channel. And Witsel, great goal to win goal of the tournament. Let's have a look at the second simulation then. So we saw Italy and England qualify from Group A. Once again, Poland missed out. Poor old Hong Kong conceding 18 goals, by the way. 7 against England, 6 against Italy and 5 against Poland. They did score a goal against England though. Of course England conceded against Hong Kong. Brazil and Holland went through from Group B. Brazil easily going through with 9 points. Group C, France and Sweden went through once again. France dominating that group. Portugal and Croatia went through from Group D. Scotland are going to have a really hard task of getting out of that group, aren't they? Germany and Australia once again went through from Group E. Spain topped Group F this time around, but Norway did manage to get through ahead of Ireland, with Singapore conceding 15 goals. Northern Ireland topped Group G with 7 points. Denmark managed to get through this time. And Belgium and Romania went through from Group H, with USA missing out. India conceded 19 goals, but they did get a goal against USA. In the second round, Italy beat Holland. 2 teams, the 2 surprise European nations that didn't qualify for the real World Cup, of course. Brazil beats England 2-1. Croatia beat France 2-1. Revenge for the real World Cup final. 3-1 win for Portugal against Sweden. What a game this is between Germany and Norway. Norway are really good. Look at this chap, Sørloth. He scored 4 goals in this game. What did I say about really good youngsters? He's a decent looking striker at the age of 22. But Germany, too much for them on penalties. But this is just a crazy, crazy game. We saw Spain thrash Australia 4-0. Romania beat Northern Ireland 3-1. Really good win for Denmark against Belgium 4-2. What a game again. Lots of fantastic games in the second round. Quarter-final stage, Portugal beat Italy, Croatia beat Brazil, Germany beat Denmark, and Spain beat Romania. Quite comfortable wins. There was 4 clean sheets in here. And then the semi-final stage, Spain beat Portugal 1-0. Massive clash between these 2 neighbouring nations. Pedro with the winning goal. And then lots of Germany banging in the goals in this tournament. 5-2 win against Croatia. Draxler with 2 goals. What a game. Third place playoff. It went to Portugal. They beat Croatia on penalties. They got an equaliser in the 93rd minute and got the win on penalties in the end. But the final was won by Germany on penalties against Spain. So that's not a shock win, really. Two finalists that you'd kind of expect to get there. Obviously, in the real World Cup, they both underperformed. In particular, Germany crashing out in the group stage, of course. But they've made amends by winning the second Golden FM World Cup. Despite a red card in the 120th minute, it went to penalties, and Germany, of course, they're going to win on penalties, aren't they? Let's have a look at the awards then. So Draxler picked up the player of the tournament, with Kimmich and Isco featuring as well. Best goalkeeper went to De Gea of Spain. Best young player went to Marcus Rashford, who got 3 goals and 3 assists for England. The dream team, a few Spaniards in there, and lots of Germans as well. Actually, more Spaniards than Germans, interestingly. Golden Boot went to Draxler, who got 6 goals and 3 assists. Joshua King, featuring again, 6 goals, as does Soloth with 5. He got 4 of them against Germany, the eventual winners. So Norway really unlucky, actually, to lose on penalties against the eventual winners. Goal of the tournament went to a Romanian. It was Stancu against Belgium. Let's have a look at this goal then. Interesting to see Belgium lining up with Nainggolan in there. And this is the goal then. Stancu picking it up, finding his strike partner, and then boom, top right hand corner, lovely strike to win goal of the tournament. So Germany win the second Golden FM World Cup. Maybe in the comment section below you can let me know where in the world you're watching from. Are you one of the guys from these 32 nations, or perhaps you're from a different nation entirely? There's plenty of views that come from other nations. Just happens to be these 32 nations are the most watched nations on my channel. But maybe one day your nation will feature in the top 32. I do tend to post stuff on Twitter every now and then because I find it fascinating where my views come from. I'm a geographer. I did a geography degree, so I do find it interesting to have a look to see where my views come from. And I do post a few analytics sometimes on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, maybe you can. I've got a Facebook page as well, which you can find in the description below or on my main channel in the top right hand corner. There's some links. So yeah, give me a follow on there. If you haven't done so already, please, that'd be much appreciated. Anyway, third World Cup then. England failed to qualify this time. Poland managed to finish above them. Hong Kong conceded 19 goals, but they still managed to score a goal against Poland, so it's not too bad. Brazil and Holland went through from Group B once again. Serbia and Canada missing out. Canada finished bottom every time, but they've done okay defensively. They've not, they conceded 4 against Brazil, but they haven't been completely outplayed, have they? Group C, we saw France and Wales get through this time. Well done to Wales. Group D, Croatia and Scotland went through ahead of Portugal. Well done to Scotland. They got 2 wins and a loss, but they went through, even with a minus goal difference. Group E, Turkey finished top ahead of Germany, so they've managed to get through this time instead of Australia. Indonesia managed to get a draw against Australia. 1-1 draw, great stuff from them. Group F, Spain and Norway once again going through from that group. In Ireland just aren't strong enough, are they, to finish ahead of Norway? The 2 Nordic nations in Denmark and Finland went through from Group G ahead of Northern Ireland and New Zealand. New Zealand just haven't got going. And Belgium and USA went through from Group H. India, they got a goal against USA again, but they're conceding a hell of a lot of goals in that group. Second round then. What a game between Brazil and Poland. Italy beat Holland again, by the way. But Brazil 5, Poland 2. Cracking game. France thrashed Scotland 4-0. Poor old Scotland. Croatia beat Wales 2-0. So Wales had to get out of the second round. What a game once again featuring Norway. They know how to score goals. They just don't seem to know how to defend because they conceded 5 against Turkey. It did go to extra time. It was actually 2-2 after 90 minutes, and then we saw 3 goals from Turkey and 2 from Norway. Turkey looked like the better team. They had double the number of shots. But what a game. Germany beat Spain 1-0, Denmark beat USA 2-0, and Belgium lost to Finland. That is a huge shock. Finland, they've not really had a very good football team for quite a while, have they? But it's nice to see them perform here. Nainggolan sent off. Maybe that's why Martinez didn't take him. He's a bit of a hothead and he can get sent off. So perhaps his decision was correct. Who knows? They finished 3rd in the real World Cup. I think that's a pretty good achievement, really. Quarterfinals then. Croatia beat Italy 2-0. Brazil beat France 2-1. Turkey beat Finland 1-0. And Denmark beat Germany 3-0. Bit of a thrashing that. That is a really big shock, actually. Eriksson and Jorgensen scoring the goals. Kimmich sent off. That's probably why Denmark managed to win that. Semi-final then. What a game between Croatia and Denmark. Denmark get revenge for the real World Cup and beat Croatia 3-2. Eriksson with a 90th minute winner. And then Brazil beat Turkey 2-1 in the other game. So Denmark versus Brazil in the final. Denmark, really good achievement that. Third place playoff, another really good game. Croatia beat Turkey 4-2 after extra time. And the final was won by Brazil 1-0 against Denmark. So they did the job. Pretty boring final. 31st minute winner from Casemiro. Denmark just weren't strong enough to defeat Brazil, unfortunately. So these are the award winners. Coutinho, best player of the tournament, with Marco Pacha of Croatia finishing second and Neymar third. Best goalkeeper went to Schmeichel, Kasper Schmeichel of Denmark. Best young player went to Ousmane Dembele of France. He seems to do very well on Football Manager in the World Cups, all the experiments they have done. He seems to feature more than Mbappe, actually. Dream team. This is the dream team. Lots of Brazilians in there, as you'd expect. The Golden Boot went to Belotti of Italy, who scored 8 goals with Hazard and Neymar second and third. And the goal of the tournament went to Sisto of Denmark, scoring against Croatia. Let's have a look at this goal then. Eriksson all the way to the edge of the box, and Sisto, I like a good goal from a corner. You know, corner to the edge of the box, slams it in. I do like those sorts of goals. The best ones are when it's on the volley. First time hit. That is truly unbelievable technique. Those sorts of goals. Anyway, so Brazil have managed to win the third World Cup. We've had 3 different winners so far. I like variety. So the 4th World Cup then. Let's have a look. This time Italy failed to get out of Group A. That's the first time they failed to qualify. England finished top of the group. Poor old Hong Kong conceded 19 goals. 10 against England. There's 10-0 against England. I just want to have a look at that result, actually. 10-0. Look at all those goal scores. Kane scored 4 goals. Yeah, scored a penalty. 2 penalties, of course. 2 of them were penalties. They also lost 3-0 against Poland and 6-0 against Italy. It's to be expected. Hong Kong, compared to these other nations, they're a little bit worse off. I don't know if I could do this a different way in future. Like a Golden FM World Cup, where maybe I create you guys, some of you guys, and put them into the national team. I don't know if that's possible, but that could be an idea for the future. So I could level the playing field and make you sort of these really good players, and then just see what happens. So it's anyone's game, really, who wins. Because it's obvious the nation. I mean, Norway was a shock, but Brazil and Germany winning it, they're not shocks. But if we were it would be nice to see someone like Hong Kong win it, because we give them some good players. That's an idea for a future series, possibly, at some point. Anyway, let's scroll down. Brazil and Holland went through. Sweden and France went through from Group C. Sweden finished top. Portugal and Croatia. Scotland finished bottom this time. We've not seen Indonesia do anything, have they? Lots of views from you guys in Indonesia. I know a lot of you are massive Football Manager fans in Indonesia. There's like a separate website and fan site for Indonesian Football Manager fans. Germany, 14 goals in this. They scored 8 against Indonesia. Indonesia did score against Australia again, but yeah, that's why I kind of feel like maybe I need a different idea for this. This is fun, but to level the playing field between the nations and have something slightly different in there could be quite cool. Anyway, Group F. Ireland have finished ahead of Norway for the first time, so Norway failed to qualify. Denmark and Northern Ireland went through from Group G, and Belgium failed to get out of Group H. They've kind of underperformed. They got to the final of the first World Cup, but since then, not good enough. USA and Romania going through from Group H. So the second round then, lots of extra times and penalties. Well, two each. England beat Holland after extra time thanks to a penalty from Harry Kane. Brazil, what a game against Poland, 4-3. Loads of goals. The second round seems to have loads of goals. Croatia beat Sweden on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Portugal beat France 3-1. Germany beat Ireland after extra time, so Ireland just missing out, getting through to the quarter-final. Spain thrashed Turkey 3-0. Penalties again between Romania and Denmark, and Romania came out on top. And USA scraped past Northern Ireland 1-0. In the quarter-final stage then, England really, they haven't done much, have they? I think they're on quite a hard side of the draw. They've lost against Portugal, they've lost against Brazil at these second or third round stages. Ronaldo got the winning goal in the 27th minute to send Portugal through. Croatia beat Brazil 2-1. Great stuff from them. Germany easily beat USA 3-0. And Spain beat Romania 2-0 after extra time. For the semi-finals, we saw Portugal beat Spain. Once again, those two neighbouring nations meeting each other, and Portugal came out on top. And Germany beat Croatia 3-1 to reach their second World Cup final of this experiment. Lots of goals in extra time again. Third place playoff went to Spain. They beat Croatia 1-0 thanks to a penalty from Isco. And the World Cup final then was won by Germany for the second time in this experiment. They managed to beat Portugal on penalties this time around after a 1-1 draw after 120 minutes. So Portugal, unlucky not to win this. There's lots of Portuguese fans that watch me. I'm afraid they couldn't do it for you. Germany. I'm surprised there's so many views that come from Germany. Well, yes and no. Firstly, Germany Football Manager is banned, although I think FM19 is going to be the first one that's able to be sold there. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I've seen rumours circulating that that's the case. So maybe people that can't play Football Manager actually decide to watch Football Manager content instead, because that's the next best thing. So maybe that's why I get a lot of views from Germany. In fact, they were quite high up the list. I think they're 10th in the list, which is quite high considering it's a game that can't even be sold there. So thank you to any Germans that watch me. Danke. Let's have a look at the award winners then. Draxler picks up Best Player for the second time in this experiment. Best Goalkeeper went to Manuel Neuer for the first time. Best Young Player went to Pulisic once again. The Dream Team, lots of Germans in there. That is complete domination from the Germans. Golden Boot went to Harry Kane, those 7 goals. Of course, he scored probably quite a few of them. He scored loads in that first game, didn't he, against Hong Kong? And then Ronaldo second and Muller third. Goal of the tournament then went to Dele Alli, who scored against Hong Kong. Poor old Hong Kong, absolutely murdered in this game by the English, 10-0. It was only in the 90s that they were still part of the Great Britain or something, weren't they? I'm not exactly sure on the details, but it was like sort of an English or British outpost, I suppose, in China. And was it given to China? I'm a bit confused about Hong Kong. I don't quite understand the politics. I won't go into too much detail because I'll say something wrong and then someone will have a go at me. Anyway, there we go. Germany have managed to win the 4th World Cup. We've got one more to go. Let's see who wins it. Here we go then, the last World Cup of today's experiment. England and Poland went through from Group A, with Brazil and Holland going through from Group B. That just seems to be, I think, 4 out of 5 times Holland and Brazil have gone through from Group B. Group C, France and Wales went through, so Wales finished ahead of Sweden this time around. Malaysia, they managed to score 2 goals, one against Sweden and Wales, but they got a draw as well. But yeah, they're not great, are they, on this? Portugal and Croatia went through from Group D once again. Scotland missed out. Germany and Turkey went through from Group E. Spain and Norway went through from Group F, so Ireland missed out for the 4th time. Denmark and Northern Ireland went through from Group G, with Finland and New Zealand getting a win each, but it wasn't enough. And Belgium once again topped Group H. They're back to the top after a disappointing 4th World Cup. In the second round then, Holland beat England every time. Second round or quarter-final, they just can't get past that stage. I don't think, we haven't seen them in the semi-final at all, have we? Brazil beat Poland 2-1. France beat Croatia. Wales beat Portugal on penalties. Brilliant achievement from Wales. 88th minute equaliser to who Pepe scored. This is a great game. Pepe 87th minute. Watkins 88th minute. Ramsey 99th minute. Contral 118th minute. Goes to penalties. Wales win. Norway, once again, another cracking game featuring Norway, and they managed to get the better of Germany this time around. Josh King and Sorloth have been magnificent in today's experiment. Spain beat Turkey 1-0. Denmark beat Romania 1-0, and a great win for Belgium 4-1 against Northern Ireland. Quarter-final then, Wales beat Holland 1-0 again. Wales through to the semi-finals of the World Cup. Bale scored a 24th minute goal, which ended up being the winner because Strootman missed a penalty. What a story. France beat Brazil 3-0. Great win there. And once again, Norway get the better of Belgium, this time in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Belgium, one of the biggest underperformers, along with England, I think, in this experiment. Norway through despite getting a late red card. That is phenomenal. So they're through to another semi-final. Spain beat Denmark 1-0. Denmark 2 red cards. That did not help matters for them. And in the semi-finals then, we saw Wales face off against Spain, but they lost. Oh, imagine if it had been a Wales versus Norway final. That would have been a magnificent thing. But unfortunately, the two favourites managed to win these games. Isco with the winner, and France beat Norway 2-0 thanks to Benzema and Mbappe. Benzema featuring in this World Cup in this French squad. Third place playoff then was won by Norway on penalties against Wales. Norway seemed to be quite good at penalties. They scored in the 25th minute. Joe Allen got an equaliser. But yes, they weren't good enough at penalties. They even got a red card. No, injuries, so 2 injuries, not a red card. So the final then was won by Spain, 1-0 against France. So France haven't managed to win it at all on this, which is surprising, considering in the 1000 World Cup simulations we did, France were the most prolific winners. And it's not that dissimilar World Cup. We've got some very strong nations in here. No African nations. Don't have enough use from Africa, but I mean, that's, I suppose, understandable. I have had views from different African nations over the years, just not enough to feature in the top 32. Spain beat France 1-0 to win the World Cup final. Then it was Pedro with the 11th minute winner, player that didn't feature in the real squad, of course. So the award winners: Benzema, top of the charts for best player. I think he got the most goals as well. 9 goals, 7.51 average rating. Yep, golden boot to him as well. Best goalkeeper went to De Gea. Best young player went to Mbappe. So Mbappe did feature on this list in this experiment. Dream team, a few French players and Spanish players, dominated by those 2 nations actually. Sorloth of Norway managed to get into it as well. And the goal of the tournament scored by Coutinho for Brazil against Serbia. Let's have a look at this last goal of the tournament then. But thank you for watching today's experiment. It's been interesting. I've enjoyed doing these World Cup experiments. I don't know how many more, or if I will do any more of this type of experiment at the Russian World Cup. I might do some other things. Like in the past we've done, can USA win the World Cup? Can the Nordic nations dominate world football? I might go back to those sorts of things at some point soon. There's so many different nations I could do, of course, and everyone's requested their own nation over the years. But I mean, the Nordic one was probably my favourite. We had the most success with that. That was a lot of fun. But there's plenty of scope for different types of nation experiments, World Cup experiments, whether nations can dominate world football experiments. There's loads of different things we can do. Anyway, I'm going to show you the results then of the 5. Let's have a look then. These are the results. We saw Norway, Germany, Brazil, Germany and Spain win this. So Germany, the overall winners of the Golden FM World Cup, I suppose. But amazing achievements for Norway to get to the final and win it. Great achievement for Wales to get to a semis. Norway got to another semi. Turkey got to the semis, of course, and finished 4th. Croatia did quite well. Golden Boot, we saw Draxler win that once, and he picked up Best Player twice. So he did very well on this. But there we go. Thank you for watching this experiment. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Any thoughts for other experiments, then stick them in the comment section below as always. Let me know where in the world you're watching this from as well. That'd be great. But until next time, enjoy FM18. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.